ranked number 7th, but that ranking is bullshit because he beat like 5 of the people above him, something like that. 3, all right. And Green Beret, paratrooper. I'm probably messing some of this up. And currently what are you, a special like security guard fighting pirates or something? What are you doing lately, Tim?
Well, yes, I do that. I mean, if it involves being behind a gun, I pretty much do it. Most recently, I've been doing a lot of television. We're chasing down Nazis in South America, which is fun. It's way better than pirates.
What?
That's a thing? There's still Nazis in South America?
Yeah, they're really old, so it's kind of depressing. Like,
is that true?
Yeah, it's like
You're creeping up on Nazis. They're in walkers.
No, they're not even in walkers. They're like in their deathbed. And then you're like, oh, hey, you know, all that stuff that you gave to your kids and your grandkids, we're gonna go ahead and assume all of those assets because you're a horrible person and you shouldn't have lived this long. You should have died 60 years ago, but whatever.
Kyle,
Wow. Yeah. Some good old sins of the father, biblical shit. We know you had nothing to do with it, but sorry, you know, go into the slums. Like,
yeah. Well, they'll never really be in the slums, but I don't really feel that guilty. You know, like 7 million Jews is kind of a lot of Jews.
I'd say too many. Yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta go out on a limb there.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to make that a stance, but I honestly, until like the last 30 seconds, I would have put money that you were joking about the Nazis in South America thing.
No,
Like,
not joking.
Wow.
No.
Nazis. There's how old? Like they have to be in their 80s, right?
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You know,
Man.
this ties
That's
back
so
to my,
old.
like, if you live an absolutely terrible life, but it works out for you until, like, 93, it might have just worked out for you, period. Right? Like, what's he going to get
I
jail
don't
for the last
know.
month?
If you're on your deathbed and then some gringo walks in and it's like, hey, that big, huge ranch that you left for your kids, we're going to take that. And then everything that they have in their bank accounts that is connected to you in any way, we're going to take that too.
Okay, I'll admit that sucks. But his kids are like 70, right? So even his kids did pretty well for a really long time.
Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I was picturing children. Oh my god, I'm a fucking retard. This guy's great grandkids are old enough to vote.
Yeah. If his kids are in their 70s, then their kids might be in their 40s and 50s. Like his grandkids had a pretty good run at all these like seized Jewish things from the previous century.
He's
so old that he's like estranged from the youngest members of his family. Where when they hear about it, like, great Uncle Ted's a fucking Nazi, they'll be like, "Well, he did bounce me weird on his knee." I can see that, you know? Like that.
Oh, that's what that swastika tattoo on his neck was from. God, I'm an idiot.
Should have put it together.
Thought he just really liked American History X. He was a big Edward Norton fan.
It was on repeat constantly. Only a couple scenes though. Really weird. Same scenes. Yeah.
So you're filming a TV show with who?
So we did, the first season was called Hunting Hitler. And it was on the History Channel. And we looked at, if it was possible, had Hitler escaped out of the bunker in 1945, what would he have done? So my end, they brought in, when they hired me, they needed a guy that could use UAVs, that knew ground penetrating radar, that had hunted people, like high value targets type people. And I did it in reverse. So I started where, if I was him, where would I have gone? And then kind of followed the rat lines back to Argentina. And then to prove my theories, to see if it would have worked, we had to find other Nazis that had done that same thing, which is where the depressing part comes in.
Oh. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the reaction like when you walk in and I'm sure some of them are like, all right, well, fuck, I'm getting my comeuppance. And our other ones just like, huh? Like they have no idea why you're there.
Dude, they've been lying for so long. They still won't admit it. I'm like, hey, look, here's a picture of you. Here's your military ID card. Here's the address that you lived when you're in Berlin. Like, this is the boat that you came here on. Here's the day that you landed. Here's your signature that matches your signature in Germany.
I apologize. I don't even speak English or read English. I don't. I've
Do you
lived here my
start
whole
to
life.
second guess yourself though? Because that's what I would be doing. Like if I caught this guy and we had all this information, he's like, none of this seems familiar. I would be like, huh? Are we sure this is the dude?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to understand the culture of Nazism and the secret, especially since 1945, the way that they've behaved. You know, living in Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, and they've had to live this way through countless presidents, some of which supported them, like Perón, like Evita's husband. You know, Evita, that girl. Her husband was very supportive of the Nazis, and he was actually part of the Nazi party. But then 2 presidents after him, they started a commission to track down Nazis. So then these guys all like shuffled and had to hide and hopping borders. So they've been doing this a really long time, and they got really good at it. There's areas in Argentina that still exclusively speak German. And me being a big, red-bearded white guy, I walk into a coffee shop, and they're just sitting there talking in German to me. I was like, no, sprechen no Deutsch, dude. Like, let's speak Spanish. I speak Spanish. I'm in Argentina. Can we speak Spanish? Is that cool? Can I order coffee?
Cafe. That's
weird.
all my Spanish.
So how many
So to answer your original question, what am I doing? I'm doing television. I'm still training for a fight. I still go to Africa to try to find poachers. I haven't been looking for pirates very recently. I'm trying to bait ISIS to try to come and kill me, but they're a bunch of pussies, so they're not going to do that.
I told everyone about your T-shirt. Like I was looking forward to you coming on the show, and I guess, am I going to mess this up? Did the CIA contact you and say that they had a credible threat?
That would have been cooler, but no, it was the FBI. Like
I mixed them
It
up.
was, as long as it wasn't Twitter. Like, oh, fuck you, go die. Like, you take it a little seriously.
I get my death threats on YouTube, and they're just fat rednecks. So
yeah, that I could aspire to that. You
I think
have me
you've
there.
got
I don't
me.
have a lot of fat rednecks.
No. If you saw the video, you wouldn't be impressed. He's just some dude driving, holding a cell phone.
I don't know. Any dude taking a video, especially if he's fat, I think it's kind of humorous and entertaining. It's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, don't mind my man boobs and my Pabst over there. I like the blue ribbon. Hey, Henrietta, bring me something to drink. No, I'm gonna kill you though. I think that's hilarious.
So it's so the FBI
Real
reached
quick,
out to you,
on
said they were
on
gonna...
your hierarchy of evil, I want to know where pirates, ISIS, Nazis, who's number one? Like, are the poachers, you're kind of like, you're bad, but they're animals. And then at the top, you're putting Nazis. Or I guess ISIS, because they're more relevant now. None of them are 90.
Ah, man, so taking the Nazis out of it, people don't really, obviously, from your question, very few people understand or appreciate that they're all the same. Whether you're a poacher or a human trafficker, or you work for the drug cartel, or you're smuggling guns, or you're an ISIS, all of the money is all of the same money. So while you're saying, yes, they only kill the poachers only kill animals, the money that they make off of that in the black market, that goes and supports eventually terrorism, as does human trafficking, as do the drug cartels, as do weapon smuggling. Dirty money is dirty money, regardless of what you're doing or where you are. If you're in Africa or South America, if you're a dirtbag, in one way or another, you're separated by 1 degree from a dirtbag that's doing something else different. So I hate them all equally. I like putting them in the ground.
All equal. See, that wouldn't be me. I'd put ISIS number 1. Nazis, because, never forget, they're going number 2. Poachers are going to be last because animals, I like them, but they're not people. They don't deserve this. Like, I don't get nearly as, even if it's like a damn near extinct animal. It's like, if killing that would save like 10 people with an awful disease, do it.
Yeah,
somehow.
but imagine if killing that animal also, in effect, kills an entire group of people.
Maybe, but these animals that they're protecting, like those rhinos, like they barely even fuck enough to procreate, much less have a meaningful impact on an area that large, like ecologically.
The microeconomics around poaching kills thousands of people, humans.
What are you giggling at, Kyle? You froze up for me.
I think Kyle's real delayed.
I'm laughing at you. Yeah, I'm really late, so I'm not able to put anything in. So it probably seems like I'm laughing at inappropriate times, but it's just I'm laughing at your jokes in a delay.
Oh,
Taylor,
appreciate
question
it.
for you. How do you stack rank a CEO who moves manufacturing overseas and puts people out of work versus a poacher who kills but they're animals?
Oh. What company is the CEO of?
Carrier. They make air conditioners.
Oh man, I can't take a stance on that. That was a good answer though, because yeah, I would still say that I'd say the poachers are worse there because creatures are dying. No, actually, no, the CEO, because way more people are getting impacted, and that's going to affect a lot more lives. Like maybe that sends a kid into crime, gets shot, something like that. Meanwhile, no rhinos. Well, no, I was about to say no rhinos are worried about getting shot, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, they're definitely worried about that. I don't know if they're thinking it through really, but yeah.
Rhinos are probably terrified because they know that they're one of the last ones.
Hey, why aren't any of you guys wearing green, by the way?
I am. It's bad lighting, but this is definitely green.
Okay.
I changed it out a bit. Yeah.
All right.
Because Taylor hates the Irish, that's why.
Are you Scottish?
Tim, this is a hard question. What's it like to fight in the UFC? Are you nervous headed into a fight? Are you like, fuck, why did I sign up for this?
I'm usually laughing.
In the UFC, there are people who think that. Who were like, if I could change my mind, if nobody was watching, I'd totally rather be watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, there are guys...
Probably
most of them.
Yeah, but you're never going to become the world champion if you're just Netflixing and chilling all the time, Well, Netflix and chilling is fun. Punching dudes in the face for money is also fun. I don't have any nerves about fighting.
Really?
I've never gotten
he's
sick.
taking on ISIS.
I know, but I don't know. Like Cowboy Cerrone, Chael Sonnen, these guys have both said that, beforehand they feel pressure, some nerves. Like a Cowboy, I think, talked about the expectations of all the people. Like everyone around him thinks that he's going to kick this guy's ass. But he's like, dude, that guy's a UFC fighter too. That guy trains just as much as I do. This is not an easy day at the office.
Cowboy's one of my friends. We're one of the training partners. We come from the same camp. I've been on the same fight card as him. While he might be a super humble dude and saying he gets nervous, and a certain amount of nerves, like anxiousness, is good. Like you want to have, to a degree, this not reservation, but this adrenaline about what you're about to do. That makes you faster. That makes you more acute. And adrenaline's a hell of a drug. So I think Cowboy optimizes that to a healthy level. I think he's just being candid and humble by saying that he's honestly nervous because he's one hell of a fighter, and he, I
like watching.
Probably has a way less a lot less nerves than his opponent.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, he's pretty cool. You were talking about, I think it was Cowboy, and you were talking about how hard you train, that you work very hard in training and very hard in camp. And Cowboy seems to just sort of have it regardless of how hard he trains. You still stand by that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. He is very talented, but he's also a really hard worker. It would be unfair to say that he didn't train. Like John Jones, for example, when he first won the first couple of title defenses, he pretty much would just kind of come in and train when he felt like it, because he is so ridiculously talented. Probably the most talented MMA fighter to date. If he had Cowboy Cerrone's work ethic, I can't even imagine what that John Jones would look like. He's definitely turned a new page, and he's training harder than I've ever, heard him train. But Cowboy, he lives the Cowboy life. If he's not in the gym, he's on the back of a horse. If he's not in the back of the horse, then he's on water skis going at way too fast on a lake that he probably shouldn't be on.
Traditional cowboy stuff.
Yeah, he lives it. So he's the embodiment of that lifestyle.
Yeah. So when are you going to fight again? I see you on Twitter looking for fights all the time.
Dude. I don't know. I don't know what else I could do at this point to get a fight. I mean,
Anderson Silva's the matchup for you. That's
no,
the
he
matchup.
said no.
He's such a pussy.
Yeah, no, he has a big old vagina.
Well, he
his
doesn't
ball
have
had
steroids
and-
anymore.
and-
Yeah, without the steroids, it's. I'd want several doses of steroids before I fought you as well. Maybe years and decades.
Back it up like 2 steps for those of us who aren't following UFC really closely. So you're looking for fights like trolling people on Twitter, or just being like, "Hey, you fight me and we'll make money on it," like that.
Oh
kind
no,
of.
I've definitely been trolling like nonstop.
Okay.
Like I'll go on and like tell Musasi that he can't have the fight that he's looking for, and he's like, "Oh, you're shut up, you're inactive." I'm like, "No, the only thing inactive is my herpes, which I probably gave to you last time we were in the locker room together." And then there's like a language barrier, and he doesn't understand that I just pretty much insinuated that we are gay together. And
that's such a Musasi thing.
yeah, it's so much
He
fun. I
has no
love it.
idea who Musasi. Tim, I like the way Tim calls out
So
people.
him.
I'm sorry to talk. You really want him to
So
talk, but there are fighters who are like, "F you, man! I'm gonna fuck you up. You're not as tough as you think you are," etc. Tim will like grab an Asian guy and say, "You know what? I don't think you're a particularly good driver, right?" And that will be like his call out. And who was that? Was that Okami? I don't even know, but that's a real thing.
Yeah, no, I did it to Kung Lee and Okami.
Oh, okay.
Kung Lee and Okami, they're fighters as well?
Yes, they're Asian. I was being racist.
Mm-hmm. I picked that
The
up.
stereotype that they can't drive well.
Yeah, the Okami clued me in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I've been nonstop with the Brazilians. Like every time a Brazilian is available for a fight, I obviously make fun of their heritage, and then I make fun of their predilection to use steroids. Then I also make fun of their bad hairstyle.
I heard this stat. Jose Aldo's camp is something. I'm gonna mess it up. 2-7, 1-9 since they started doing the steroid testing, the USADA stuff.
Tricky how that works, doesn't it?
Coincidental, I suspect.
No, yeah. I'm not saying causation, equals correlation, or correlation is causation. But yeah, it absolutely is in this case, like 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know.
Do you?
Would you like my sport more if we had hockey sticks in the cage with us?
No.
Oh no, actually, they'd be way too quick of matches because it would just.
I don't know.
one-
I could have a pretty good fight with a hockey stick, I think.
Actually, that would be good because suddenly swordsmanship would get into it quite a bit more, and it'd be like
take out
like
the
a
hockey
gladiator.
stick. Let's just say we had to wear hockey jerseys. Like the bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, that'd make it better. Yeah, if there were 5 of you.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, 5 of you on each team, just
Dude,
beating the shit out of it.
If you had talked to me like 10 years ago, I would have said, everyone do steroids. It'd be so much fun to watch, etc. As if these weren't real people. But I'm friends with Joe Lozon.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know Joe. And
I still thought that. Till really
Joe
recently.
is clean. I don't know how well you know Joe, but he doesn't even take like ibuprofen. Like he's a very clean fighter. And I think to myself, like, damn it, dude! Like he's had a whole career. I think he has like 22 UFC fights, something close to that. And I think it's 20. Anyway, he must have bumped into somebody with steroids along the way. Like that sucks. Like there's no way.
I mean, statistically, if we're going to look at the era in which he fought, half of his fights were against a PED user.
I wouldn't argue against
Are
that.
all
Yeah.
so performance enhancing drugs? Is it like of that half? Are most of them just the same level of steroids, or is there a ton of stuff mixed in there?
No, there's a
different
ton of
drugs?
stuff mixed in there. I mean, you have guys that are just ridiculous with their steroid use, like Vitor Belfort. He's failed like 3 times. That's another guy that I've called out a handful of times. At this point, it's affected his maleness down here, so now he has to use them so he can actually just have some form of a sex life. Yes, I'm trying to call him out right now. So Joe, like his career, 50% of those fights, and so if this was baseball or soccer, it'd be a different story. But we are knocking each other out and trying to choke each other unconscious, and it is brutal and completely unfair when somebody is cheating.
Can you tell in the ring in the moment, like when someone grabs you and you feel like maybe an unnatural strength, like do you know right away, or you probably have known for a while watching him train?
So I fought this guy Yoel Romero, and I didn't know if because he likes the Jesus a lot. I too like Jesus, but he really likes Jesus.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah, I thought he might be like filled with the Holy Spirit, but then later he failed a steroid test, and I was like, all right, it wasn't the Holy Spirit. It was the steroids.
I'm terrible at sarcasm. Did you actually think Yoel might have been clean? Did you think that for a second?
Yeah, no. I never thought he was clean ever.
Yeah, he's
like before the fight, I was saying that he's a cheater in every single way, both inside the octagon and outside of the octagon. Yeah, so no.
There's a couple things about one. Of course, I hate to apply the eye test. You know, like you, for example, are a thickly muscled guy who I don't think is on steroids, but. So I'm saying that because the eye test can be inaccurate. But Romero, oh my God, hugest eye test failure ever. Just looking at the guy, you're like, humans don't look like that. He's like an action figure. It's crazy. And then beyond that,
you can see the cycle changes in his athletic shape. You know, if you look at me from me being a collegiate athlete a really long time ago, let's not talk about how long ago that was, to today, I haven't really changed much. Yeah, I've always been like my dad was an Olympic athlete. Like I got some stupid genetics, but I get called out all the time, dude. Look at like no natural person has 8 abs. I was like, well, you know what, bitch? I work out 3 times a day, and do you know what I had for dinner? Let's look. There it is, right there. Can you see it?
Oh, that's a dinner of sadness. Yeah, there's nothing good on that plate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's no one else there.
It's turkey and vegetables. That sucks. You know?
So that's why you have to spice up your life with pirates and ISIS, is you're eating boiled chicken and carrots every night.
Yeah, seriously.
Some sort of
like,
excitement.
At this point, I'm either going to suck start a shotgun, hop in the bathtub, lukewarm, with some razor blades and vodka, or I'm going to go hunt down some ISIS.
I want to try to get... Yoel Romero pooped himself in the cage. And
3 times.
3 times? At different fights?
Get it one.
Three different fights.
So sometimes people use diuretics to help them make weight. And if you poop yourself in the cage the next day...
That's an indicator.
Perfect. That's an indicator. I'm not saying...
is that illegal?
Yeah, that's not...
Take a diuretic?
Yeah, no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, so if a guy's shitting himself in the cage the next day... He probably is just loaded with laxatives, and that helps you be a bigger human in a smaller weight class.
That's why risk it. Why risk shitting yourself in front of people?
That was still gate number 1.
Because even the fights that he defecated on himself and his opponent, he still won those fights.
No, that should be a forfeit. You shit yourself in every other sport. Like, you can't just shit your pants running for a touchdown and it fills up those tight little pants and everybody like backs off the tackle and then just call that 6 points.
This is the first time that we agreed on something. So yeah, I agree with you. I concur.
I concur as well. Yeah, that's silly. You mentioned that one of the guys was really dirty in the cage as well. What's something, you know, like I know what dirty shit is in other sports, but in UFC, what's like a telltale dirty thing that someone watching it as a novice might not pick up?
The stool.
Kicks to the groin, pokes to the eyeball, fist hooking, grabbing the cage. Like when somebody's trying to take you down, you're like, I don't want to go on the ground. I'm going to hold on to the cage. That's cheating. Not getting off your stool in between rounds. So like, let's say in between round 1 and round 2, you have 60 seconds to recover to move into round 2. If you don't come out after 60 seconds, you are supposed to lose. But then you can do like little things like spill your ice bucket and be like, oh no, if you're really tired or you're hurt, you're like, I spilt my ice, hold on. Or you leave the stool in, or you put too much Vaseline on so the ref have to clean it off, and that whole entire time you're just sitting there going, oh, namaste, bitches. Namaste. Okay, I'm ready to fight. So there are a ton of ways that you can cheat in the ring. And
for people that don't know, Yoel Romero did that exact thing against Tim Kennedy at the end of, I don't know if it was the first or the second, but Tim had the guy knocked out. He got saved by the bell. What did you say?
I'm just agreeing and crying.
Okay, he was knocked out. He got saved by the bell in between rounds. And then after 60 seconds, he effectively couldn't answer the bell. And that's a forfeit. So his corner did all kinds of like weird old school boxing tricks where they I think they failed to get the stool out in time.
They did. It was called Stoolgate, which is really weird.
Well, that's Stoolgate number 2 because Stoolgate number 1 was the pooping.
Yeah.
So, and I guess 4, I didn't know about the other 2, but yeah, so they didn't remove the stool, and they don't just start the fighters in there while there's a stool. That would be too dangerous. So he used that extra time to recover, and then he actually came back and won, which sucks because he lost. And yeah.
That was a major failure on my part, though. I thought the fight was over. I thought the fight was over not once but twice. So when I didn't realize he was saved by the bell, I was celebrating. I was like, yeah, woo! I thought John McCarthy called the fight off. So then I went back to my corner, and I'm celebrating for 60 seconds, still screaming, pointing at Dana White, being like, yo, you're going to pay me. And then the bell, and I was like, oh, what's going on? I guess we're fighting. So I walk over to John, to the ref, to say, hey, are we fighting? And he's like, no, go back to your corner. And I was like, oh, awesome. He's still sitting down, and he's sitting there telling him, no mas. So I was like, sweet, I win again. I got 2 wins in one night. I wonder if they pay me my win bonus double.
They should.
Yeah, they did not. So then about a minute later, he's like, all right, now you guys can fight. And I was like, what?
Did you think
I had
you were
all
a little
but taken my
flat?
gloves off.
Like you weren't sort of mentally
I was gone.
ready
I was
for a
completely
fight?
mentally gone. Yeah, I was thinking about coming back to my bodacious brunette of a wife.
Man, what an awful feeling to just finish beating the shit out of someone. You are already celebrating, and then somebody's like, oh, no, that animal over there, you're not done beating him up yet. Get in there. Start fighting. And you're already thinking about dinner.
We were at this opposite. Back. If we were on a graph, I'm going this way, leaving, and he's going this way, trying to come back into the fight. So we couldn't have been... You can't see my hands now, but one's way over there, and this one's way over here. So they're really far apart.
Very far.
That fight was. I watched it live, and I was convinced you were going to win. I was sure of it, but I didn't know how because Yoel Romero, the line I use is the perfect specimen, right? If aliens wanted to come to Earth and grab a perfect male specimen, they might return with him. He's all roided up, but he's. I'm just like, how is Tim going to do this? And then you did. And I did. Then they undid it.
And then he cheated and got it. So to answer your question, there's lots of ways to cheat.
Yeah.
Wow. I've watched enough just sitting around. I've noticed a couple times, hits to the back of the head. I know that's illegal. But I never see the fish hooking and the eye gouging. There must be some stealthy motherfuckers with that, right? You'll get kicked out.
So the eye pokes... The eye pokes happen a lot. So instead of punching with a closed fist like this, pow, you go pow, pow.
Oh.
And, yeah. And sometimes you're just trying to defend yourself, and you're blocking, and then you stick your finger in the dude's eye, and he's like, ah, and then boom, and you knock him out.
Sometimes long guys in particular will just use their long arms and their long fingers to keep you out of range. And while it's cheating, sometimes I don't know if they had cheating in their intent. I get mixed up.
I agree.
Yeah.
All the time.
So, I guess I'm when are you going to fight again?
How much am I lagging now?
You're lagging.
Are you... Smoke?
Fire.
That's the lag.
Oh, God. Get out of here.
It's terrible. What was I don't know. Dude, so, Green Beret, what's that like? I find that almost nobody who does really... I don't know how to more respectfully phrase super interesting things in the armed forces actually talks about their super interesting things in the armed forces. I have no military background.
The Navy SEALs talk about it a lot.
Okay.
Hey, oh man, I just did something really cool. Hey, let's make a movie. Hey, I just did something really cool. Let's write a book.
Everyone pokes us up for that.
Really cool. That's a TV show.
Where have you served? Can you talk about some of the places you've served?
Name it. I mean, I'm everywhere. I think you'd be pretty challenged to find or name a place that I haven't worked. Obviously, Iraq and Afghanistan a ton, and everywhere in all countries that are touching those same countries.
You too young for
and then
like Somalia?
Africa. The what? What are you saying?
Are you too young for like Somalia? Back when we were there. That's where Black Hawk Down was.
Yeah. I'm too young for the good old Black Hawk Down era. I have been there for other things though.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like 10 years before me.
I'm old.
Yeah. But Shugart and Gordon are two of my heroes. I like worship those guys.
You're a sniper.
I am. Yeah, they're graduates from my sniper school. So
Really?
there's only there's like 6 sniper schools in the military, you know. Mine's the best and most elite, obviously. And it's a pretty good school. It's a prestigious school, and they are worshipped there.
Huh. So yeah, for people to know, he's both a sniper and a sniper instructor. And I don't know. I am an average shot amongst untrained people.
I'm an average shot amongst the people I shoot with.
Absolutely. I'm doing a 3-gun competition on Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you see Keanu Reeves' video?
He's much better than me.
I did.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
He looked legit to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a pre-staged, rehearsed scene from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably shot that same series, 100 or 200 times.
I didn't think about that. I bet you're right. He's done that exact same motion. I just assumed it was his first time doing that. I don't know why. I'm an idiot.
Well, no, there's no way Keanu just waltzes in there after all those bad movies and busts that out.
I thought it was him training.
I mean, his fundamentals were really good, though. I mean, even though it had been rehearsed, that we could even take that out of it, even though it was. Like, he did all the things the correct way. So he looks really great. I'm excited to see John Wick 2.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It was better than I thought it would
what
be.
I thought is he was doing a 3-gun competition to develop more gun skills, so he'll just be that much better at gun fu. That's what I thought I was looking at. Maybe.
Oh, he definitely does do 3-gun competitions. That was not that.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a rehearsal.
Yeah, but I was very impressed. No,
as I was.
Yeah.
That sounded like Yoda.
It got by me.
No, just sound wise. So you sound like you're so busy constantly with just all these things. Like, what do you ever get downtime? Like, what are like your for fun hobbies where you're not trying to help someone or get better at killing people or fighting or any of those things? Like, do you ever just unwind? A book, glass of wine, video game?
I don't think I have a day off until July.
I'm there too. Yeah.
All right, so no,
Like I'm booked from now until July.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. Well, congrats. That's a good thing. Good problem to have, right?
Is it?
No,
I don't know, man. I'm trying to.
Let me ask
wow?
I want to ask a
Fuck your
rude
life.
question. I've been approached with TV shows before. Nothing that solid. I don't mean to overstate it. But first year paid like nothing. Like it was really like, oh yeah, the first year it might have literally paid nothing. Second year paid almost nothing, and then if you get to like 100 episodes or something, then it becomes a big deal. And is your first year better than like? Did they give you a good deal?
Yeah, I mean, so
Worth your time?
I'm not the normal first year actor.
Right.
When you're bringing a guy that's a special forces sniper, a Green Beret, a Ranger, that's been. Like speaks languages, been to a bunch of countries. He's ranked top 10 in the world as an athlete. That changes your pay scale a little bit.
I have a lot of Twitter followers.
Yeah, and then I have an existing online presence of a few 100,000. So like that changes. So like while now the second year of me doing television is obviously going to be better than the first. The first week it's not like starving.
Okay. Cool. So that's Kyle trying to come back, which is good because now my boxes are where they belong. So are you at home now? Are you somewhere else in the world? This is what...
Nope, I'm at home. I got home a couple of days ago.
Dude, we didn't finish the FBI story. So the FBI reached out to you and said that they had credible death threats from ISIS. Is that the scoop?
Yep.
And
That's it.
you said, hey, how seriously do I need to take these? And they're like, well, we're concerned. Am I still on target?
Close. So they're like, yeah, like, we have credible threats of ISIS trying to kill you. And I was like, uh-huh. And they're like, well, they're it's in a way where the things that they're posting, you should be worried. I was like, I'm not. And so then they got mad because I guess you're supposed to worry about those things.
But they didn't realize the convenience factor, right? Typically, you have to go to them. I mean, this is like ISIS to delivery service,
know!
right?
That would save me thousands and thousands of frequent flyer miles. Had they just come to Texas. So, but they won't.
No, they're gonna avoid Texas, I think.
Yeah, well, no, they can't. They actually did. They gave it a whirl. I mean, the good old junior college try. They went to Garland, Texas. This lady was doing this. It's like Paint the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, like those Draw
competition?
Muhammad days? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, two ISIS guys showed up in a car full of guns, and the plan was to walk in and shoot everybody at an event. So they pull into the parking lot. They get out of the car. About a half a step down by a whole bunch of Texans. Like, it was just Swiss cheese. Their car and their bodies were just riddled. It was like a Die Hard movie.
Ordinary Texans did this?
Yeah, Garland, Texas.
I like to think North Carolina would put some holes in them, too. I can't be sure.
North Carolina's they're pretty gangster when it comes to a whole bunch of radical fundamentalists coming to try to kill them. I think that wouldn't go well. I'm going to agree with you.
You
there.
called North Carolina.
It's not
home
Texas,
for
I mean, what states would do poorly, do you think, in that same situation?
California.
Like Texas. I was thinking California and New York, number one. But then if ISIS comes...
Well, you're kind of dead now because of how you've been absolutely like horrible terrorists,
Couldn't hear you there.
Yeah.
New York and California, 9/11 and San Bernardino, they're pretty good examples of terrorism.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
U.S.
they are.
declared what ISIS has done as genocide. Huh.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Is that
They
where they're
also
targeting?
said it wouldn't affect their strategy against them. So, yeah, Christians.
Because some people think, okay, they said that, I guess that's what they mean, but there's an argument for, like, oh, we don't just sort of stand by and let genocide happen. Oftentimes, not it happens a lot, but if we declared it as genocide, a lot of people thought that would mean that it was time to get more involved.
Yeah. I think a lot of that's happening in Western Africa, too, isn't it? It's like Boko Haram. They're not ISIS, but they're...
Yeah.
So much
kind
for
of
your July
different
vacation,
flavor.
Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's ruined.
pretty depressing. The Boko Haram, they've actually sworn allegiance to ISIS, and I think there's a saying that all it takes for evil to succeed is when good men do nothing, and that's maybe a little bit about the motivation of saying what ISIS is genocide-wise. So we can't allow things like that to happen. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
Are you?
So what is
Oh.
your plan to actually go over there and enact some change, like do some damage? Like you're still planning on going back over there and putting those skills to work, I assume. Like, can you just
All the
go over
time.
there with like a mercenary license, or can you go without the military? Like,
Do you
I
still
don't know. I
work
guess
with
when
the military?
you're so high up there with the Green Berets, it's like you don't even know what questions to ask, because I feel like you could do whatever.
You definitely can't do whatever, and I don't have my mercenary license. I don't know where I'd get that, but I'm definitely on the lookout so I could get that.
Do you need a license for that? I'm not sure that's a licensed
absolutely.
profession.
No.
All right. I'm not good with sarcasm. We covered
Like,
this.
I had to
It's an
register
8-hour
my hand for fighting, and then I keep my official confirmed kill count in my binder in my bedroom. True story.
None of these
Your
stories
long
are
string
true.
full of ears.
Yeah, none of these things exist.
I didn't. I always thought the register.
Anytime you hear somebody confirmed kill, you be like, "All right, you're a liar," or "I mean, I had to register my hands because I'm so lethal." Liar. I have my mercenary card. Liar. My name's Anderson Silva, and I don't use performance enhancing drugs. Liar.
To me, that tainted his whole legacy. I considered him
pretty depressing.
Maybe the GOAT.
The best ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then once he got busted for steroids, it's like, well, no, you can't be GOAT. Sorry. You undid it.
So who is now? Who was the runner-up? Is it George St. Pierre? I've heard of...
GSP and John Jones and maybe Jose Aldo are the names in this circle. But Jose Aldo, he wasn't busted for steroids. But that thing that I don't know, you probably saw it, the timeline leading up to I think it was the first McGregor fight. Are you familiar with this? Like, they came to test him, and they he's unavailable. So then the next day they came to test him. He was late or something. And then in the afternoon he gave a test, and then he tripped and spilled his urine. So that was ruined. And then the next day they deported the guy because he didn't have a visa to collect a urine sample. So then weeks later they came and took a urine sample, and that one was clean. And I'm like, fuck off. It's
I'm not defending him. He is Brazilian, first. His camp is notorious for using steroids, second. That timeline is exceptionally suspicious, third. But, for example, a couple of days ago, I had the US ADA show up at my doorstep at 7 a.m., and I had just gotten home from being gone for 3 weeks the night before. And I was leaving 90 minutes after they arrived for me to be gone again. So let's just say they arrived the day before, or 90 minutes later, they would have missed me. And they would have missed me for weeks. So then you could be throwing stones now Tim Kennedy's trying to avoid a drug test. It really would have just been, fortunately, I was home and I was able to give them, as normal, a fantastic sample like I always do, and I didn't spill it. There was a big old cup.
Dude, they knew where to find him because he has a schedule he keeps because he was in a training camp. And he tripped and spilled his urine. Now, I'm not a professional athlete, but I'm able to expertly navigate my house and my gym or whatever with glasses of lemonade or water or what have you. The fact that he can't, it's fucking spilling his urine sample. That's what he's doing. And then he couldn't provide another, of course. Tap that. Keg's empty.
Yeah. There are dudes there that would have drank that urine off the floor. Lyoto Machida.
It's... I see what you're doing there. Yeah, he's another fighter who claims that he drinks urine and keeps him pure or something.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does. He totally does.
No.
He doesn't. Yes, he really does.
That's not a thing that.
I took a photo of me peeing.
You have to drink
directly into his mouth.
This size, maybe
I feel like if you drink Jose
every
Aldo's,
day.
If you drink Jose Aldo's urine,
piss.
that's just a way of getting free steroids.
That's disgusting. I bet it's all.
But
it's
saving money.
If they're cutting weight. Oh, has this guy drank pee in front of people just to show that he's actually a pee drinker?
Yeah, absolutely.
Has he really?
Man, what does he think it does for him? What does he think? What's the mystique behind it?
So his father's Japanese, and it was about getting nutrients back into your body that your body wasn't able to absorb in the cycle of your digestive system.
Yeah, of course. Great victory in the urine for you to drink. 61 ounces per day.
I wouldn't drink a shot of urine. It sounds terrible.
Is he a better fighter?
Come on, you wouldn't drink a shot of urine? That seems like a very small amount of anything.
Okay, I would drink a shot of urine. Now we're just negotiating price. If
it's my urine, I'll do it for a price.
If it were powerful urine, I would drink some of Jose Aldo's urine. If I thought I was going to get some actual benefits, look, stick with me here. If you saw me do a shot of Jose Aldo's lemonade, and all of a sudden I'm benching 275 the next day, you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" You would want a bottle of Jose Aldo's pits. you would be following him around to urinals. You'd be like, please, Mr. Aldo, please. You would want some if it had that kind of power.
The real question is why I'm not drinking his urine now, right? I'm not fighting anybody. I can do steroids, right? I'm not cheating at anything. I'm chopping wood in the backyard. Roid it up, baby. There's no harm.
Look, I am fully for a PED-enhanced version of this podcast. I think we should all be doing roids. I think we should all be all jacked up and angry, like roid rage all the time over the simplest things. We're just discussing like what kind of shirt you're wearing, and we're all like red-faced and bulging and losing our shit, end up sobbing at the end of the podcast and apologizing to each other. That would be a show.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
That would be something. I don't know. I would be okay with you guys doing it on here as long as you weren't trying to hurt another human in what's supposed to be a regulated competition.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna take steroids and then go hop in the UFC and think I'm gonna, change the world.
Yeah, if you're
I think it would.
If you're firewood, you're fucked. But I'm not hitting anybody, so we're good.
Yeah.
So, are you currently?
I'm really
you're
unhappy
Green
about
Beret.
the amount of lag going on here.
Yes, I am.
Are you
that is true.
currently a Green Beret? I don't know how this works. Like, is it once you achieve a certain level of like proficiency, does the Army just sort of keep you sort of in it? Is it Army? Am I screwing this up? I'm not a military guy. It's Army, right?
No, you're totally correct. Green Berets are from the Army. And, once you're Green Beret, always Green Beret. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're still working in the capacity of a Green Beret. So I still am. I'm still an active Green Beret. I still teach, still work, still deploy, still do all that stuff.
But you don't seem to have a regular schedule. Like I'm sure there are Green Berets who are told what to do all the time. That doesn't sound like your lifestyle. Or not.
I guess that's a better way to articulate it. That's what I was wondering. Is like you have all these plates you're spinning. It seems like being a Green Beret would take up so much time it wouldn't be possible.
Well, there's a lot of the things that I do are symbiotic. There's bleed over between them, so they're very related. While I might be doing something in some capacity, it complements something else that I'm doing in a different capacity. I'm not being like I am being vague and ambiguous. Listen, I don't want to have to kill you guys.
We understand if you have to be. It'd be cooler. Yeah.
You do understand I trained under Jacob for years.
I do. Yep. So you would be harder to kill. To a degree.
To a degree. To a very small degree. Yeah.
I have to fix my mustache.
So you're a sniper.
Yeah.
Favorite caliber? Was it vary per job?
How far away is my target?
I don't even know
60
how
feet.
far away a target would be. I only hear about the longest of longest shots, but what would be a typical day in the life of a sniper?
Depends where you are. If you're in Fallujah or you're in Sadr City or you're in Baghdad, your engagements can be anywhere between 1 and 3, maybe 400 meters because you're in an urban area. Mm-hmm. If you're in the mountains of Afghanistan and you're trying to, shoot a guy that's planting an IED on a road and you're on a mountaintop that's a mile away, that's a little bit further. So, depends on where you are and what you're doing. Somewhere between 100 meters and 2,000 meters.
So let's do both, right? Urban and mountaintop. In urban, you're choosing what?
In urban, I'm pretty happy with a 308. I can shoot anywhere from, obviously point blank to 800 to 1,000 meters pretty accurately. Absolutely being able to, hit a person quickly and effortlessly. And, using that AR platform, you can have follow-on shots. So you could have targets at different distances that are moving, and you can engage those targets much more rapidly. If I'm in a rural area, mountains of Afghanistan, I would go with a 338 Lapua.
I thought you might say that, but you went so far. I was wondering if you'd pick 50 cal. Is it just because you hate carrying it around?
The 50 cals. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the bullet, the ballistics, the velocity, or the gun. So I like the 338 Lapua.
Kyle would know all this, but the 50 cal is not faster than the 338.
It is not.
Oh. Aha. I didn't realize that. So it's slow. Does the speed help it have a more level trajectory?
Yes, the speed, the grain of the bullet, obviously the 50 cal. So like if you take like a ping pong ball and you chuck it, right, it's gonna go so fast for so long, depending on the velocity that leaves your hand. Then you take a tennis ball and then you chuck it as fast and as hard as you can, and it maintains obviously a speed faster, and holds that speed longer than the ping pong ball. But then you take a hard ball from baseball and you chuck that, and it goes even further. So one of the benefits to the 50 cal is the grain, the size of the bullet. It's very big. So it's like a softball. You know, you hit somebody with a softball traveling at whatever 2,500 feet per second. That sucks. The 338 Lapua, being smaller bullet with a higher muzzle velocity, it shoots very straight. And out to ranges that are usually going to limit a person by their capabilities. So the bullet's the bullet is going to surpass the shooter's capabilities.
So I read this on the internet.
Why is that not more common than the 50 cal, or is that just a misconception that these snipers are walking around with these giant 50 caliber cannons for snipers?
Yeah, just a misconception.
Yeah, I was going to head there. So I read on the internet, so it must be true, that a lot of people like 50 cals because they just shoot through all these like stone walls and stuff that somebody might hide behind. Perhaps.
Yeah, so again, so the 50 cal was originally designed to be used against equipment. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an anti-personnel weapon. It was to shoot the engine of a car or to shoot a helicopter that was hovering. That was the design and the intent behind that bullet. That's why we stuck them on airplanes to shoot down other airplanes. That's why we put them on top of tanks. The 338 was designed to shoot people. And that's why I asked, well, what am I doing? I would pick what gun and what caliber bullet I would be using depending on what my mission was. So if I'm going to be sniper cover for a team of soldiers that was moving into a village, I'll maybe take a 50 cal because I'm going to be able to shoot through walls. I'm going to be able to shoot through doors, depending on how far away I am, compared to just trying to take out a single target at whatever distance compared to having to engage a whole bunch of dudes at variable ranges. So it just all depends.
All right.
Really wish Kyle wasn't lagging out. I want to hear
How bad am I lagging?
Smoke.
Fire.
Not bad. An improvement.
Not nearly as
almost
bad.
Talk to you.
Yeah.
Kyle, what would you take to snipe?
I'm sorry. Going through this.
Tim,
we're going through this, and I'm like, my 308's there, my 338's there, my 50 cal's right there. Like, I wish my fucking microphone would work.
Tim, are you familiar with Kyle and his other channel? FPSRussia?
No.
Have you seen those? Oh, okay. Kyle has a 6 billion subscriber YouTube channel where he shoots guns and blows things up.
What's the name of it?
Yeah, we have FPSRussia.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Man.
That's him.
Is that you? You look so much cleaner when you're not dressed like a redneck.